distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen.
Brother Murray, you got it, Linda?
Yes.
We'd like to welcome you to the BK History Club. For the people that came in the live audience, give yourself a great big hand. For the people that's on Zoom, give yourself a great big hand for coming on Zoom. We meet here every other Wednesday in honor of the late great attorney at war, Alton Maddox, Mackey's original, Brother Hassar, William Mackey Jr., El-Haj Malik Shabazz, Amos Wilson, Louis Ray Rivera, Minister Khalid, Miss Leona Maddox, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Ivan Van Sertima, Professor George Simmons, and all the individuals who gave up fame and fortune to burn the midnight oil to tell the truth. They didn't have to take the route that they did. They could have went with other people and just said later for it, but they didn't. So we meet here and honor these people in honor of the UAM, Miss Leola, who had an old car, and she drove that car all the way from Teaneck to the UAM because she believed in bringing people together. And she ate her dinner at UAM. We want to honor Miss Leola because she went beyond the call of duty. We never want to forget her. All the historians, and in this day and time, these historians have left us, so we have to have people that's going to come through and pick up the mantle. But we still want to have our lectures, so we bring them here. So big ups. Now we're going to bring the camera over to the Amos collection. This is the help, Brother Sababu, African World Info Systems, to continue the work of Amos Wilson. We have Blueprint for Black Power, the psychology of self-hatred and self-defeat toward a reclamation of the African mind. Black on black violence, the psychodynamics of black self-annihilation in service of white domination. And whether we know it or not, we are still being dominated by white folks. We still carry out their orders. We are still being dominated. So if you want to get out of that wax, you got to read Amos, Black on Black Violence. Awakening the natural genius of black children, the falsification of African consciousness, African-centric consciousness versus the New World Order, issues of manhood in black and white, S.K. Damian, the distorted truths, the bastardization of African cosmology, and in honor of Louis Ray Rivera, who came to Mackey's when Mackey left us. And he used to come down here and speak for hours. We never want to forget Louis Ray. Jazz in jail. And he only lived a couple of blocks away, and he would speak with Brother Coleman and us. And he would speak, and he lived on Jefferson, and we would walk him home, and he'd speak for another hour and a half. So in honor of Louis Ray, we have this. Now I'm going to have some publications. You can get these books on Amazon. I don't care what they ban in any kind of books. Amazon ain't going to never stop selling books, but if they tell Amazon not to publish some books, they won't. In honor of Dr. Ben, black man of the Nile and his family. They did not have too many computers, and Dr. Ben did the work. So we never want to forget Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. Ivan Van Sertima. Also, everybody's talking about reparations. You got all these committees. Reparations this, reparations that. They got to pay us. Well, they must don't have this book without sanctuary. The brothers hated what was done in the South. All the pictures of the atrocities. All the pictures of what happened to us as African people. The ropes, the whippings, Cecil Rhodes, who black people go to school and get a Rhodes Scholarship. And he cut the arms, the legs, the ears, chop you up for the rubber plantation. But we still go to these schools and brag that we are Rhodes Scholars. Miss D, tell Brother Seville that we can hear him in here.
I'm here.
Africans or African Americans, black identity and political activism in New York City, 1784 to 1861. This was before the draft riots, when they was hanging us from the lampposts. The Irish was tearing us up. And we were still fighting strong. So when you have the African American Day Parade, you better recognize who paved the way for city services and blacks to get these jobs, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., before you start talking all that nonsense. So the parade is coming up. You better recognize. Sister Tyreen Wright, they say a lot about Booker T. Washington, but according to Sister Tyreen Wright, Booker T. was a bad dude. He taught black folks how to make bricks. And we have not a brick making company in America where we make our own bricks. And if you read about Booker T, in honor of Queen Nzinga, fierce sister warrior out of Angola. And when the Portuguese went to negotiate with her, they didn't even have a chair for her to sit down. So the brothers, members of her army, made their own seat, and she sat on them while she negotiated with them Portuguese. And if a lot of our sisters would read this book, them chumps wouldn't be able to run a game on us like they do, because you're coming in the spirit of Queen Nzinga. She was fierce. Fierce. Put you in check. So this is an honor, Sister Nzinga. The destruction of black civilization with Chancellor Williams. Chancellor Williams would explain in his volumes all the mistakes we made, how the Portuguese, the Arab slave trade, the Europeans. There's no transatlantic slave trade. Transatlantic didn't enslave us. Europeans did. It's the European slave trade, the white man slave trade. Chancellor Williams will explain all the mistakes we made from the great armies to how when they came into the great civilizations, it tore a mud hole, the Hyksos. But we're still fighting. And Africa is still taking care of the world. That's how the abundance of resources. So they put African people in Africa and gave us everything we need. That's why we lived in so much blessed civilizations. And until we take it back, and with what you know what you need to take back something that somebody took from you. If you ain't got that, they ain't giving up nothing. We want to thank Chancellor Williams. Donald Trump was talking about S-hole countries and everybody jumped on them and this and that and this and that, and it's a new drug in town. It's called Donald Trump. And black folks can't stop using it. Well, when he says S-hole countries, he wrote a book, she wrote a book, how the U.S. creates S-hole countries. And in my personal opinion, the only person that cared about the people in this country and in Georgia was Cynthia McKinney. And on orders from white folks in the South and black Boule members, they did her in. And her second book, When China Sneezes, from economics. And in this book, she talks about government and how corporations with the big guns go into other first world countries and don't make nothing here. Cheap labor. They don't make nothing here, but they go into other first world countries with the big guns and the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and take what they want. As Dr. Lewis says, Smedley Butler. They come in as marauders, kicking so-and-so and taking names. So Cynthia McKinney gets into that. So with all the products they making overseas, and they ain't a factory here making nothing. The Unspoken Alliance, Israel's secret pact with South Africa. The Jews control South Africa. And this book talks about it. Make no difference what anybody tell you. And everywhere you look, all you see is people smoking weed. I went and got a haircut at Romy Rome's today on Nostrand and Macon. They all in front of the smoking that stuff, and it's evil, and it's disgusting. You can thank the Democratic Party and George Soros. Fulton Street in Nostrand and Fulton used to be the hub of the black community. It's disgusting over there. Thousands of motorbikes. The next thing you know is they're worrying about Trump. And they look at you like you're a fool. Lyndon LaRouche gets into that in this book, Dope Incorporated. The medical marijuana phenomenon that's killing us. So for all you people who like Barack Obama, also known as Darth Vader, CIA all the way, Wayne Mansfield, the manufacturing of a president, how the CIA insertion of Barack Hussein Obama into the White House. All you got to do is read the book. How did he come up all of a sudden out of nowhere and land in Chicago? I never heard of it. The man behind the curtain. He controls the Democratic Party. He controls all politics. He's a bad dude. I call him King Soros. Inside the man behind the curtain, just like the Wizard of Oz. George Soros, in book number 2, The Life and Times and Trading Secrets of the World's Greatest Investor. So if you want to know how the crooks really get their money, you read about Soros and Buffett and all them that makes billions and they ain't got a factory in sight, as Cynthia McKinney says. Ain't got a factory in sight. And the other book is how George Soros, Hillary Clinton, and 60s radicals took complete control of the Democratic Party. That book was already purchased. Read about George Soros, Hoffman, and all these gladiators, and understand what's going on. In honor of Ayo Kamati, in his 1-2 punch, Jews are the Problem, Part 1, and the Psychology of the Jew. We want to thank the Irritated Genie for this 1-2 publication and this excellent Ayo Kamati, the Irritated Genie. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Wuhan cover-up and the terrifying bioweapons arms race. Children's Health Defense and Robert Kennedy got to give up big ups for this book. Deception, Rand Paul, and the Great 19 cover-up. Read about this, because we're losing so many people. Capitalism on a ventilator. How all this money was made during the 19, and how they just took people out. Excellent publication. Kennedy, Brian Hooker, Children's Health Defense, Vax versus Unvax, Let the Science Speak. Another great publication. Dirty Dog, The Real Anthony Fauci. Dirty Dog, The Real Anthony Fauci. Down the 19 Rabbit Hole. The Medical Pharmaceutical Killing Machine. And I'm getting into this book, and when you get this book and start reading, you're really going to find out. So these books are readily available. In honor of Edward Dow, who was an analyst for BlackRock, the pitchers, the young football players, the young athletes in the prime of their life, the charts, the collapsing on the football field, the pitches, the charts, everyone, all these youngsters collapsing. He gets into what happened. How a person in the prime of his life all of a sudden wake up, unresponsive. So we want to thank Edward Dow. The vaccine, ultimate vaccine timeline, Children's Health Defense, and it's a book that goes into the history of vaccinations. 1896, 1899, how it all came about. 1969. So I want to thank Shah Khan and this other blockbuster book which Pfizer wanted to withhold the information for 75 years. And Naomi Klein and them forced them under the Freedom of Information Act. The Pfizer papers. They must have made some headway. This has all the charts on what went down. I don't know when I'm going to finish reading this one. But they didn't want the public to know. And they came out with a second publication called the Moderna Papers. And they basically stopped it. I ordered it, and they said it's not available. It was one copy on eBay, and they wanted almost $400 for it. But I believe they're going to be victorious in making Moderna, who never made a vaccine in their life, with this stuff that the public has a right to know. And I don't have the book here, but Dr. Scott Whitaker, Medicine, the causes and solutions that are killing us. And he's out of Georgia, and I don't have the copy of his book with me, but Dr. Scott Whitaker's classic, Medicine, Medicin. He gets into everything about the plant-based phenomenon, this chemical meat that's made in the laboratory. And we want to thank Dr. Scott Whitaker on this book. So ladies and gentlemen, I also have some announcements. We want you to know what's going on. Remember, we have the African American Day Parade coming up. I believe it's the, somebody Google it, African American Day Parade. And that's a parade that lets you know where all the fighting, the paving the way. See, the African Americans didn't come here looking for no job. We came here fighting freedom. Everybody else came here looking for a damn job. We came here fighting freedom, breaking down doors, eating at lunch counters, going to colleges, getting bit up by German shepherds, beaten, lynched. What day?
September 21st.
September 21st, Harlem. We paid the big, the draft riots, Seneca Village. Was not fighting for no goddamn job. So we want to salute the African American, if that's what you want to put us in that category. Now we are foundational black Americans. And even got other black folks running around talking about you shouldn't get no reparations. Ridiculous. So when you talk about reparations, it's a global phenomenon. It happened all over the world. They dropped us everywhere. So don't come here running that nonsense. It happened everywhere. Thorough Black Talk, Saturdays at 10 o'clock, also on Zoom. No, Thorough Black Talk, Thursdays at 8 o'clock. Tad, Keisha, Sister Brooke, Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Excellent show. That's 8 o'clock. One of the hottest shows on the East Coast. Thorough Black Talk. Tad, Keisha, everybody. Blacksmith, everybody. Also, our Philadelphia Connection, Blog Talk Radio. Saturday at 10 o'clock. Sister Empress Chief, Brother Lumumba, El Pollinator, Brother Blacksmith, Moses, and everybody coming on. Excellent program, comes on 10:30 on Zoom, Blog Talk Radio. Sankofa Revolutionary Radio, Ayo Kamati, Anthony Mohammed, WSYP. All you gotta do is Google Sankofa Revolutionary Radio, and they give you a 1-2 punch. Every Monday, 9 to 10, you got Brother Haru, Dr. Haru. Excellent program. You can call in medical advice, his products, what he's telling you to read. But then they give you another from 10 to 11, Ayo Kamati, the irritated genie. And he gets into everything. Jews are the problem 1, and the psychology of the 2. Jews are the problem 2. So Ayo Kamati, that's a 1-2 punch. Excellent program. Our powerhouse brother out of Baltimore, Darren Muhammad, State of the City. That comes on sometime Wednesday, Thursday, but the Saturday 12 o'clock program on Instagram and on YouTube, State of the City, Baltimore, Darren Muhammad. Every Tuesday at 3 o'clock, Dr. Aline, Your Immunity Project. That's a Zoom meeting live. The 3 o'clock program on Zoom is live. You can type in your questions, your medical questions, and ask Dr. Aline. And if you missed that, you could come on at 7 o'clock and see the rebroadcast, but you can't ask no questions, so that's Dr. Aline. Every Friday, African Echoes Family with Brother Trust Graham. That's African Echoes, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That's a Zoom meeting with Brother True and all the gang and the African Echoes family, and they're doing the psychology of self-hatred and self-defeat toward a reclamation of the African mind. But then Saturday, they give you a double header. The Know Thyself Study Group with Brother True. Trust is the mediator of that. And they go in depth on the mistakes that we made as an African people with the destruction of black civilization. So that's a 1-2 punch. Also, the Seville Topic organization in the fight against Netflix, in the disgusting cartoon redone of Netflix. So Dr. Mack and the other organizations that follow him, they caught him down at Flatbush with Steph Curry in his new book, and he doesn't have nothing better to do with all the millions but participate in a derogatory redone of the Good Times cartoon. And we just looked up all the other participants that has the job of other characters. The Esther Rose character, the John Amos character, the JJ, and all the disgusting scenes and that stigma. And they all black. The ones that do the voices in cartoons, they all black. So this is Netflix. This is Netflix we are praising. So it's a whole bunch of other black folks who down with that. The ones that's doing the talking on each character. We just looked it up. I want to thank my wife for pulling it up. So, the Seville Topic organization, and we're fighting hard. So you got to watch it. Hollywood, and the Jews in Hollywood, and white folks that control the entertainment industry has a way of giving you positive and then kicking you in your behind with other stuff. So you got to look at it. And if it's one book you want to purchase to understand how they set up this, is Neil Gerbler, An Empire of Their Own, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. If you're looking to get in anything with the entertainment industry, you have to get that book, Neil Gerbler, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. It's readily available. So, without further ado, we have the UNIA, the UNIA, the store, they have the Rock publication, the store, with Raymond, Michael Duncan, and what they're trying to do in the UNIA is reprogram us to remember race first, and to get us out of going to these stores, myself included, and supporting a black-owned store. It's a black-owned Jetro's. So it's an excellent store. It's on Merrick Boulevard. So we want to thank the UNIA for trying to reprogram us. And they're doing an excellent job, one member at a time. So ladies and gentlemen, UNIA is going strong. We have to be reprogrammed if we're going to get anywhere. So ladies and gentlemen, Brother Seville is our keynote speaker. I saw him. I always wanted him to come back. All our lectures on the BK History Club, you can see on YouTube. Just type in BK History Club, and all our lectures will come up. Dr. Lewis, everybody, you can study, you could go over it, and if you have a problem, you could always come down here and ask the speaker. So I saw Brother Seville. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I always wanted him to come down to Mackey's and do a little something. He could start now. He could do part 2, part 3, part 4. But ladies and gentlemen, from the great area of Brownsville, never ran, never will, they got some bad cats coming out of there historically. Give a great big hand to our keynote speaker, Brother Seville.
Thank you very much. First thing that I would like to say is that I would like to give praise to people who have opened my eyesight and allowed me to actually have the mentality that I have. One of the most important people that I'm going to speak on is Elijah Muhammad. Very influential brother that have gave people insight, the Bible Nation. They were very important to me when I was young. That's the first thing that I heard about me being God and me having the power to actually change my life. And those individuals are no longer, they're active, but they're no longer in the street at this time. The Nation of Islam, which at one time you see all in the community. Now you don't see the brothers unless you go to the mosque to actually get the information that they have to give. So I'm saying all of this to say this. There's nobody in the streets teaching the black child, the black woman, the black man. There's nobody there. I'm there every day. You know what I'm saying? I have a business in Brownsville. I'm a merchant. I sell stuff. So I see the conditions of how the kids are walking down with their pants hanging down. And this was going on in the 90s. It's getting worse right now. All I see is them emulating the pants all the way almost down in their butt. Now I'm seeing people that's 32 years old, 36 years old, 40 years old men who are walking through the hood with their pants down here. Now, my problem is this. If they're doing this, what are the women's condition in their minds? Why would they allow their man who supposed to know better, supposed to be a man, and she's walking down the street with a man with his pants hanging all the way down here? We are talking about the reality, what's going on in these households, what these kids are seeing. This is the simple stuff that I'm talking about. What are they seeing in the household? Now we know that we have a lot of perverts. We have a lot of people that have their white European mentality or their views on what a family is, a family structure consists of. When I come up, the father, the mother, the auntie, the grandmother, the grandfather, all of these individuals was part of the family unit. You would talk to them, you would see them, you would get guidance from them. That no longer exists the way that it exists when we were coming up. The oldest, about 70 years old. When I was coming up, we had that kind of guidance. Now, there's nobody that got anybody other than them being on YouTube, Facebook, and all the different programs that the Europeans have invented to keep our children asleep. I'm going to say this also. We have to understand that the war is real, but it's the spiritual war that we have to worry about. It's not the physical, it's the spiritual war that we have to worry about, man, and conquer. We have to understand that everything that's taking place right now is already in motion. It was already, you know what I'm saying, being developed, man, you know what I'm saying, when I was in the womb, on how to keep the black man and the black woman down and subject to things that we are going through today. We have to understand that if you're going to look at your life as an individual, the first thing that you have to remember is that the nurturing part of what a woman consists of. They're nurturers. They're supposed to be there to guide their children. But now we understand that there's no men in those households. They're not there no more. And all the ones that are there, the majority of them have been feminized. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that black man to be a black man. They want him to be weak and able for them able to manipulate and control aspects of him that they normally couldn't do under certain conditions. We know that they're pushing this with Obama's idea and concept, because you know he was the one that really pushed it into existence. The black president that had a white mother, supposed to have been an African father. Wherever he was, I don't know his true identity. This is what they said he was. But he pushed this gay stuff. Like it's all right for a man, you know what I'm saying, to be a woman and a woman to be a man. This is going on in the streets, man. I'm trying to see out when I go outside and see how many people are walking around, men walking around with dresses on, and how many women trying to be a man. I'm talking about everyday life, man. This is a problem. This is no joke. See, a lot of people don't come in the streets and they don't go in these households and see that there's no men in there. And then you see men in there, but they're not really men. You got people that's in church, know that the man is gay and still marry him, still deal with him because there's no men that she can actually have a choice to deal with. So they're taking half men. They're taking something that they should never even look at as a husband, as somebody supposed to be there to guide them, to teach them, to keep them out of harm's way. This is what's going on in our households as we speak. There's nobody in there to teach these people on what to eat. How to eat to live, man. I mean, Elijah taught that. But that's part of the problem. You're eating all the fast foods. Your McDonald's and Wendy's and all the rest of this stuff going on. Women don't hardly cook no more like they used to cook. Because there's no parents or grandparents that's going behind them, teaching them exactly how to prepare meals. So what they doing, they getting TV dinners. You know what I'm saying? They're sending these kids, I mean, listen, the stuff that I see, man, in the street, it just puts tears in my eyes. So much madness going on. I mean, you have to see it to believe it, man. These people are deaf, dumb, and blind, and love being deaf, dumb, and blind. They love it. They love not seeing the truth. Because there's nobody there actually teaching the truth no more. All these so-called conscious community, conscious what? You got people that have information that's all about money. It's all about economics. It's all about how many people they can get to draw in to get some money out of them, man. They're not really teaching no more. It's all a business right now. You know, you have people having unks. You know, they're supposed to be the foundation of all creation. They call it the first cross. But all things arrived from in the Egyptian world. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that all of these things that we see, touch, taste, and smell is no longer what it is. It's an illusion. It's nothing that we can say is actually real no more. Everything that's being created and we don't even know where it comes from no more. And at the end of the day, we have to realize that we at war. Sometimes in our own households, the children that took over the house, telling the mother what to do, coming in with the weed and the pills, and bringing it in her own house, and dare to say something. Dare to say something to them. You know what I'm saying? They smack the shit out of them. Excuse my language. Curse it out, motherfucker. This is what they do. This is how much disrespect is going on in our communities. And this is not only New York. This is in Philadelphia. This is in Chicago. This is in Ohio. This is in Alabama. This is in Mississippi. This is in Georgia. This is in Texas. This is in Indiana. This is Oklahoma. All over the United States, these children have no guidance. Because their parents are either on drugs, selling drugs, or with the drug. One or the other. So what are we going to do to actually get these people out of this condition? How can we actually change what's actually happening here? What can we do as an individual? First thing we must do, we must love ourselves. Because most of these individuals don't care anything about themselves. So how can you teach love when you don't even have that for yourself? This is the reality that we actually dealing with. I seen dudes walking down the street, man. I said, listen, man, do you love your mother? Well, I only love her if she give me what I want. I said, wait, so you telling me that you living in the house with your mother and you don't love her? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if she don't do what I asked her to do, no, I don't love her. I said, so if somebody was harming your mother on the street, would you go to her defense? It depends if she was listening to me when I was asking her if I wanted something, and she gave it to me. I might, and I might not. But you have to understand this. Where did it come from? Where did the disrespect come from? How was it formulated? You know, because we have to look at our own lives, man, in general. We have to look at what we didn't do. But the grandfathers and grandmothers to this day are not doing in their households. What are they not doing, man? They're not teaching, man. They're not bringing back the things that were back in the day that made us who we are today. They don't see that no more. Amen. We don't see none of that. But listen, I don't have nothing against Christianity. I don't have nothing against Islam. I don't have nothing against Buddhism. I don't have nothing against Hinduism. I have nothing against none of these isms. But if they have not formulated a way for us to be successful in our relationship, then what good is it? What's the purpose of having that particular insight if you can't unify? Because the whole thing is about separating the divide. That's what they were created for. We have to understand that a lot of things that we see and we do is just relevant to what we think is relevant. We have to understand, man, that a lot of things that we have to do, people have to see you changing. People have to see you actually doing something that's making sense. Which a lot of things that we do make no sense at all. Amen. At the end of the day. But we're supposed to be the ones who have the insight and have the power to step over the stumbling block and see it before it comes. Because remember, people are watching us every day. All around the world. People key on what African? What African do they key on? The one that's in America. We are the key components that every black people, all black people, look towards the American black. They look towards him for strength because he's been under this cracker for a long time. Long time. And a lot of them have became this European. And they don't really realize or understand that the Europeanness that's inside of them has been planted there a long time ago. You're thinking you're looking at a Afrocentric thought, but it's really European. You've been in the schools. You wear clothes. is white people. And I don't have a problem in talking about it. Because the main component that I can think about is behavior. Where do we get this behavior from? Why haven't we changed the way we are and we have insight and we have knowledge of ourselves? Why haven't we changed the mentality of the things and how we look at life in general? Why haven't we changed? We had Amos Wilson, who's one of my heroes, who came to study the psychology of why people did the things that they did and understand the characteristics of what happened and didn't happen in that particular surrounding. Amos Wilson taught on the behavior of that child. But where did it come from? It came from the parent, or it happened while he was in the womb. Before he was even in a physical form like that. This is where all the damage is being done. When this individual was cursing her out, calling her a bunch of bitches and hoes, and you ain't shit, and she has a baby in her. We talking about the kids out here now. We didn't go too much, we didn't go through too much of this back in the days. We didn't have too much disrespect like we had with these women in this day and time. But we have a lot of people who need help. Need a lot of help, and we need to help these people.
Move it out again, Rick.
For all the scholars out there, I want you to understand this. If you're not teaching about civilizations, if you're not teaching about black history, if you're not teaching about John Henry Clark, if you're not teaching about Franklin Chris Wilson, if you're not teaching about different individuals who have gave information to bring us out of the dark world that we were in into the light, then you're not, you should never call yourself a scholar, or you should never call yourself a teacher if you're not doing these things. At the end of the day, I can stand up here all day and sound profound. But if I'm not teaching, if I'm not giving guidance, if I'm not trying to take somebody out of the state of mind of their head, then what good is it? What good am I doing? If I'm not teaching why I don't do this and why I do this, why I come here for this purpose and why I'm going back for this purpose, my ins and outs, why I'm not speaking about why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and instructing people what they need to do to survive, to actually live in this world that we're in. There's a lot of things going on in our households that have to be addressed. There's no men there, there's boys. There's no image for them to look at in them households. There's nobody to look at. What is a man? What is a man? What is the definition of a man? Let me ask somebody who knows what it is. What is a man?
Someone who's accountable for himself, responsible to himself, and has found a source of love that birth intends to anticipate healthy relationships to the people he claims he loves.
All right, that's the definition of a man. Excuse me, young lady, what's the definition of a woman?
I think the definition of a woman is a female who is willing to be in the house to support her husband, to support the father of her children, to maintain order, to correct children when they are wrong, to encourage children to read everything, encourage children to understand that there's nothing wrong with being black, and encourage children to become number one or whatever. industry or whatever specialty they choose to be about. And teach children that the house is going home to work, and we respect each other, and we hold on to each other, and that we show love for each other underneath this roof. We can't do it here, and we go outside of this terrain and this barrier. It's going to get even worse, because you have to be able to love yourself, love your family, have some order, have some respect, and do that which is right. And be willing to tell people whenever you know you made a mistake, ask sincerely that you be forgiven, and hopefully you won't do it again.
But do you think that the woman that's in the household today, do you think she has the proper information to give these children that information? Like, should she be actually teaching them how to cook?
Oh, yes.
Teaching them how to clean? Teaching them how to be responsible with their money, not spend it on anything? Because a lot of this is not being taught.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of this is this forgot about. Come on.
You're telling the truth, because I think it's almost like we don't have our hands on our children or each other. It's like this instead of this. That is usually the first house we learn love and respect and order and dignity. It's from home. From daddy, from sister, from brother, and you learn all of the dynamics of living life, from paying bills to being clean and looking, decent when you go out of your door, be ironed and be clean, take a bath, comb your hair, and just show a little bit of old-fashioned self-respect, as well as understanding the importance, like Malcolm X, that read, because everything we need and want to know is in a book somewhere, and understand that we are given a civilization, but we're not going to know that if we don't travel to Africa, if we don't read a book, and if we just take whatever we are told from the television and from the newspapers that in most cases are controlled by white folk.
All right, so let me throw another question out there. Now, there are a lot of times that they have is in the school system, where they're supposed to be being taught. What are they actually missing or not getting in that environment that would give them to be successful later on in life? Anybody can answer that. I can't get an answer.
They're not teaching that. They're teaching them their way. Kids today, they're going to school and they're doing whatever they want because the system is not for the kids. Because anytime a child will tell you whatever and you can't say nothing, teachers are not able to teach and they're told what they can teach. They're like, oh, you can't teach that. You got to teach this. You're going to a black school, all black school, and you're learning about workbook, other stuff. You're not allowed to talk. You have 1 month, February, to talk about black. Other than that, you don't want to hear.
So what do you think the solution is? I'm gonna give me a solution.
You got to read this for yourself because they're not going to teach you out there. You got to read this for yourself. Because the stuff is, they put the stuff out there, they put all these gadgets out, and why should I think if I have the tools, next one? So they put it out there. You gotta put something out there and then say you can't do it. You put it out there.
Right.
You put these fancy watches and stuff. So kids don't have to think. Why would they think? It's right there. I don't gotta think about it. All I gotta do is put it on my phone.
So let me throw something out there. So why not homeschool? Why not keep them at home? You know what I'm saying? Where I got all the books, when I got access to all these books, why I don't teach them at home? Where I can just give them the information that I want to.
Because now you don't have time.
Oh, that,
You don't have time. Where you gonna get time from? You gotta work. You can't do all this without money.
Right.
So it's designed for that.
Well, the majority of black people, right, don't have jobs. The majority of them.
But they're in the club.
Yeah, we're in the club doing their thing, but you gotta look at it deeply now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those individuals, right, don't have the capabilities of teaching anything because they don't know nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But also, you also gotta look at it. In our days, the parents raised. Look at the age of the parents now.
Exactly.
You got children raising children.
Facts.
So it is all together. They have designed it to be the same. Our elders is wrong.
Right.
So the ones that the parents had morals and taught, and you can see the difference in the children of then and now.
Right.
Look who's in the household. Like you said, there is no man. Female can't teach a male how to do stuff.
Facts.
There's only so much that a female can teach a male.
Right.
You need a strong black man, male, some way. Not talking about off the street somewhere,
Right.
but it's morals. It's morals. Those are women. They're our women. You remember when we were young, we played with cans and sticks and
Yeah, we can leave you all, kick the can, you know what I'm saying, all that kind of stuff like that, yeah. We had activities.
Because this
Yes,
is
right.
you don't got it. This is all.
But there has to be a way that we can be successful, you know what I'm saying, in changing that cycle. There has to be a way that us as older people
Exactly.
can come into an environment or just give time, like you give time here, just go into a school system or go somewhere where you can actually sit down and teach. I'm a counselor, right? And I'm a youth counselor, ex-drug counselor, relationship counselor, and marriage counselor. So my field is counseling. What I have seen, right, as I've been going to different family units and having sit downs with them, I have noticed that a lot of the parents are intimidated by the children. You know what I'm saying? They're intimidated to even say something to their children. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna jump up and actually do something to the mother or I can't say the so-called father, because a lot of these women, I don't know what they're thinking about. They bring different men in the house at different times, and the children are watching this, right? So how am I supposed to learn how to respect you, mama, if every other day there's a different man in the house that you're saying is your boyfriend or your man? Now this is going on in the majority of black houses around America, because most people get high. Most people do drugs. And then they make marijuana, legal, so you know everybody's getting high. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to happen to the children? You know what I'm saying? Child welfare, they going hard now, man. They coming in the family, breaking them up, you know, because that's money. Putting the kids, little 5-year-old kids, 3-year-old kids on Ritalin, drugs. The parents, listen to this, the parents are signing their children over.
Love is missing.
Oh, that's what's missing? That's why they signing the kids up? I mean, but who love is it? Is the love for the children or the individual didn't get no love? Which one is it? I mean, because if I never got love, how can I get love? I can't do it. If I was abused, or my father, when I was living, my father was playing with me. Because remember, we're in a European system. We have a European mind. We think like them. Incest was something that white people did to keep the money in the family. That's what they did. So a lot of times, brothers and sisters, right, don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? But this is the technology that's been forced on to these individuals to think that this is all right for them to kiss their sister or go with their cousin.
We don't have any boundaries.
Right, there's none.
We don't have any boundaries, and we don't have any people, the parents and the fathers saying, I am the head of the household. If you don't like what I say, there's the door. Get out. Because in this house, I rule in this house, I call the shots. And you will do as I say. If you cannot, then don't come. You go get your own house. you go be dad and be parent. Because I had that happen to me when I was growing up with my grandmother. She told me if I wanted to have children, think I was so wrong, blah, blah, blah. She said, there's the door. Knock yourself out.
But how about the individual woman that don't want to take no orders from a man? How about the one that got a good job? You know what I'm saying? And no longer actually needs a man because she's in an economical position to be at power.
But just because you make a lot of money does not mean that that money can substitute for a man. The man can easily make less than me, but a man is a man. And if he's doing those duties that men can only do, money or no money, he is due that respect.
Yes, I totally agree with you, but this is not what's going on in these households. You got these independent women, you know what I'm saying, that want to be in control and don't want no man to actually tell them anything. Once they read a certain code about economics, they don't want nobody to tell them because she can jump outside and go to the Benz or the Jaguar or whatever. So she don't want to take no instruction from the man. What do we do with that problem? And then that little girl and that little boy is actually seeing this behavior. We're in trouble, man. I'm telling you, we are in trouble. They don't read no books no more. All these books up here, ain't nobody doing no reading. You know what I'm saying? Occasionally I see white people with a book in their hand. You know what I'm saying? On occasions. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see a lot of black people with books.
I see them on the show.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, this is what I don't see. I don't see so-called men in my community taking up for behaviors that kids are doing. They turn the other cheek. Or they act like they don't see it. But this is actually going on in the community. Instead, there's nobody pulling these kids up and telling them right from wrong. At one time when we was coming up, we were a community. I can check your kid. I can check your child and bring you home. You can't do that no more because you get shot, you get killed, you get stabbed. This is the mentality that we're dealing with now. So, what do we do under these conditions, man? You can read all the books you want to read. You can do, I mean, come on. My brother.
Yeah, right. This is powerful. That's based on what was said thus far, and your question, like, what's the solution? With everyone sharing, with this sister sharing about, you know, the vision and, you know, what this sister was sharing and what you were sharing, you know, you saw. What comes to mind to me realistically is, you know, and again, the dynamics that's involved, like you were saying, like the mothers in their 30s and 40s with these 14-year-olds, and then you know, teachers not really want, like you mentioned, Ritalin, you know, but they try to do that to me, you know, in the 4th grade, you know, where I was just a misbehaving kind of kid and wanted attention, and they put me in the CRMD class, right? So let me don't put no more pain on that. I believe that each, I don't know where that would start at, like in the education system, as far as like some administrator, and then of course that budget, it wouldn't cost any much, would be that each and every school in the black community should have a mentorship program of men and women that come in weekly, bi-weekly, or what have you, so they could be the students sitting out here like we're doing, and you be that mentor that you're tangible. You know what I mean? And you say that, yeah, I shot dope, or I said dope, or they didn't go that route. You know what I mean? They started the Ivy League route, you know, but they're black. You know what I mean? And I'm almost certain, let me put it that way, their problem is a a great likelihood that there might be a percentage that don't get it. You know what I mean?
So you saying, let me say this to you. So you saying this, that there should be a group of people in the community that goes into school?
No, every, in the public school system, they should have a mentorship program where they have weekly, someone such as yourself,
Coming into school.
as a man, address the men. Don't do the whole gender thing. Address the men. I done this, I done that. And then you saying like, the lady next door used to whip our ass and tell my mother when my mother got home that she whipped my ass.
Right.
You know, they don't know nothing about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, consistency, you know, because how do you change a trained mind? They continue to see that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Have you tried yourself to actually go to your grandkids' school and walk up to the principals and listen, I have an idea. I would like to come here and address the male boys and have a conversation with them about this, that, and the other. Do you think that I would allow you to do that?
Okay, God is so good. Thank you for showing up at the ball. I'm a designer, right?
Right.
So for the last 2 years, I've been pushing prom dresses.
Right.
Right. So fortunately, if I could, you know, be great to be honest, you know, I got an envelope to the guidance council because I ain't running behind no young girls at my age, you know, so they the one that's created the contract.
Right.
So I'm just saying that in response to your, because my only got 2 grandsons, they live in Texas, right? So my response to your question, I'm saying that it's possible, you know, instead of approaching the guidance counselor about being a conduit for me to sell my prom dresses to counselors, I'm almost certain that it's a possibility someone like me and you.
Listen, you need to try it. I'm gonna go to this sister here now. The same question that I asked him. Do you think they would go for it if somebody wanted to come in their school and do that?
The school will not, unless you have to enter the school. What's supposed to happen, you have to take a class that you are not a sexual predator. That's one. It's maybe 3-4 hour class. Child abuse, you have to take that as well, right? So when you take that class, you have been fingerprinted, then you are allowed to go to school. Now, we had PTAs coming up, public school and so forth, right? How you get involved, you would be a part of the PTA. But the entire pandemic was to shut these things down so that they can do what they want in the schools. Because I've done PTA, president, vice president, in about 4 schools because I had children, whether daycare, public school, junior high, and I was able to do a lot of things because I worked 7 to 3, you know, so I would work 8 to 11, but
You're not gonna have a question.
the bottom line, solutions is what we want to talk about, right? My solution is, yes, you do approach the school wherever your grandchild is. You become involved in, they don't even call it PTA anymore, it was called something else within the last 5 years that I had children in school. And you present to them at these meetings where you get the parents together because they do have some of these things in some of the schools. What they also did was do charter schools. You're not getting there. You understand? Charter school. Yeah, I see you, meet you at the door. The charter school also have about 5 lawyers. Why do you need lawyers?
for public school children. Because you're doing things you ain't got no business.
All right, so let me say this. Let me say this. At the end of the day, that's a good idea, my brother. If you can actually implement that, then that would be beautiful for parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever who want to participate in that kind of activity going into school. Doing that for the children is a beautiful thing. Anybody that's out there that's on Zoom would like to, say something or make a comment, here. You can make a comment.
Yeah, Brother Seville, this is Sister Keisha. I hope all is well, brother. I just want to say that, yes, I have spoken at schools. In fact, one of the largest high schools in Brooklyn, which is Abraham Lincoln. And I was only given 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes resonated with the youth of today. So much so, when I was done speaking, 500 students walked me to the train station. The police in the area thought maybe it was a riot or a protest going, and I said, no, these are just children walking me to the subway. The problem I find with a lot of elders is that you are in analog when we live in a technological world, and you refuse to pivot. And when you refuse to pivot, that's how you lose the youth. If you look on major social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram, there are thousands of young people who are repurposing Malcolm, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben. The problem is the elders ain't in touch with that. And so most people think that the youth ain't with it. They are. They just not with an analog antidote to what it is that they're dealing with today. You gotta know how to pivot. And if you don't, you will lose the youth. I'm sorry. That's just the way that it is. Old talking points is not gonna work in a technological world today. It's just not.
I agree. I totally agree. All right, thank you. I totally agree with you. I think we have to become computer-wise and actually learn about the things that are going on to advance and actually do the things you say we must do. At the end of the day, man, I just want to make note that this is that information is very important. And if you are in a family unit, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever family you personally are in yourself, a lot of times we don't give this information, man, to our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, you know what I'm saying, or our nieces, our nephews. We don't talk about this with them. And yet and still we have this kind of knowledge and information, but we don't expose it to them like they're going to reject it or something. Man, listen, there's a lot of things that I say, and when I come with my family, they know who I am, they know what I am about. And a lot of times we're scared to address people, you know what I'm saying, in that way in our family unit, because either they are Catholic or they're Protestant or they Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. I wouldn't care what it was. But a lot of times we do not have these conversations with them. We don't even sit down and talk to our brothers and sisters no more. You know what I'm saying? In our own families. We hate our cousins. Or, there's a lot of divide that's going on that have to be resolved. It has to be resolved, man. It really does. And what we have to stop doing is the people from Africa, and to come to find out, me being around them so much, right? And me understanding the concept of my language being taken from me. And I hear them talking their language. And I'd be like, wow, if I just could do that, how much good I would feel about myself. Because I'm talking English. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking the dialect of where, he may come from Ghana, Guinea, you know what I'm saying, wherever in Africa. But to hear them actually talk their language, you know what I'm saying, it just makes me feel so good, and I understand exactly what I'm missing or what happened to me as an individual. You know what I'm saying, where I don't understand nothing about anything about Africa when it comes to that language. Because you know the first thing they took? They took the language, they took the God that we worship, whatever it was, you know what I'm saying, at that particular time, and our concepts and views about our culture, man. Different tribes do different things. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you know what I'm saying, had to go to manhood. Some people had to go to womanhood. You know what I'm saying? There were different things that was going on at that time that stopped. It ceased. You know what I'm saying? It no longer exists to this day. And it's a lot of madness going on in these houses. And we got to reach out and we got to find a solution. A lot of these parents are scared. I want to say this to any parent. If you have kids in your house, 17, 18, 19, right? And they're living with you. The whole objective is for them to take over, to run that household, man, not you. You know what I'm saying? If there's no man there to get your back, you're going to have problems controlling that atmosphere. And most women don't understand the significance of this, man. This is very important. Very important, man, that we have that backbone there, backing me up with anything. Because I noticed that. I came in the house when there was no man and I wanted to take over. The first thing that happened, yo, Mom, you need to leave him alone. Mom, you don't want to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? Mom, you should deal with somebody else. The first thing that's going to happen. So we got to understand the significance of how important we are as individuals. That man and that woman is very important. That grandfather is very important. She said the technology, yes. We have to get it, we have to learn that. A little bit about it anyway, so we can reach them. That's the only way it's going to happen. And we don't come down to earth with how they think and how they look at life, we're going to lose them all. They're gone. That's it. It's going to be over at the end of the day, because they don't respect us. They don't respect us. They don't respect the elders. They just don't. I see them in the street. Yeah, yours might, but I see kids talking stuff to their mother, their grandmother, shut up. I said, listen, I see it. Because I'm in the street, man, I'm witnessing this behavior. It's going on. And you have to stop it if you are able to stop it. And the only way you can stop it is address it.
Yep.
That's the only way it's going to happen. I don't care what book you read, what DVD you watch. If you don't actually do the work yourself, it means nothing at the end of the day. Anybody else want to make a comment?
When you chastise them and do what was done to you by your elders, they come lock you up.
No, not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. It can happen, but not necessarily. Because I see my children discipline their children, but their children don't say nothing about it. They don't talk about it. They don't go to school and say, yeah, my mother hit me, or my, you know what I'm saying? They don't do that. But it happens. No question about it.
It's how you, it's not, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've been on the train and bus and young ladies, teenagers refer to each other. An incident happened, and I do this. One young lady called the other one B-I-T-C-H, you know, they was acting really cute, I guess trying to impress some young man. And I said, you know, I know you're beautiful, intelligent, B-I-T-C-H, you know, honest, courageous and honest, right? Now, you're supposed to be a black queen. And if you call yourself that, just imagine yourself pregnant. This same person is going to respect you, or they're going to be calling you that too. You know, how
you right though.
And when I said that, you know.
But you know what's out of order though, man, and seriously. Oh, Joe, you know what's out of order? The word nigga is permeating, man. Every child that I hear the word nigga come out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Every other word is that nigga, this nigga, you know what I'm saying? So the mentality is there, man. You feel what I'm saying to you? And it's getting worse. It's getting real bad. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's really getting bad, man, and what I see in the streets, man. So what I have done, I talk to some parents, and I try to do it every week. Either I come to their house, sit down with the boys, you know what I'm saying? And we have conversations about what they think a man is and a man is not. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, we know that a woman cannot. She can raise them, but she can't teach him the basic structure of what a man is. She can't do that. You know what I'm saying? A man can't teach a woman the basic structure of what a woman is supposed to do and how to treat a man. All of these lessons are not being taught. So that's why a lot of these relationships with the man and the woman doesn't last long. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like a booty call thing going on here. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, prime example, I got 19 kids. But one of my daughters have a man who, she had a baby by him, and 2 weeks ago she came up to me, yo, I'm pregnant. Now this is an abusive dude. He's very abusive, not physically but mentally. And he just says all kind of stuff to her. But yet still she got pregnant by him again. Now I have conversations with her about who he was, what he might do, and what might happen. But yet still she's still dealing with this dude. So where am I failing at? I'm trying to reach her. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell her some things that may keep her out of trouble. But she doesn't listen. What do I do in this case?
They said you can take a camera to the water that you
Can't make a drink. What do you think? What do you think you need to do?
Oh, it's hard to try to make somebody do something, especially they saying, oh, they're in love and they're not going to leave this person and they turn against you.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, because love is blind.
A lot of what?
Love is blind.
Love is blind.
It's different meanings to love.
Sure enough it is.
The man that beat you down, but I say love.
Yeah, it is, you know.
It's
Right.
just, look, if you, like you said, if you don't love yourself, you think that's what love is. If he, you know, if he hit you real hard, he really loves me. If he don't hit me, he must love me. And then sometimes you don't have the economics. You can't bring on love.
So you think that's why a lot of women stay in the position they're in?
Yeah.
If they don't have no money and the guy may be a baller, you know.
If it's no self-worth,
Facts. I totally agree with you.
because what you gonna do? If you wasn't taught that, and sometimes it is from being taught, you're held so tight, when you get out there, you just go berserk. But it stems from in the household. If you have a mother and father, the father teaches the daughter what to do. He shows love. Now, if the father doesn't show the daughter love, or she sees that her father beating the heck out of her mother, that's where you got it from. So you think that's love. Mommy didn't leave, she stayed there. So it's like reprogramming. If you don't know what love is, how you gonna love? You said it's
Like you can't do that. It's not gonna work like
it's
that.
not gonna
If anybody on Zoom has an answer or would like to give me some feedback on that particular question, I want to hear.
take them around some couples that do get along. They see another thing.
Right, support.
Uncles, this and that, people that have a relationship that's beautiful.
That's
You know,
healthy.
I know many couples that are married and they don't, you know, we don't get along well and so forth. And not only that, I have said to a neighbor and so forth, you know, what are you showing your daughter? If you're getting abused and now he decides that he wants to abuse your child, then what?
That's a problem.
Yeah, so sometimes that will make them start trying to see something different so they can get out of that relationship.
Right. You're right, though. I totally agree with you, but I think that we have to practice what we preach. You know what I'm saying? We have to practice that. That's not something that's going to come overnight. And when you come into a new environment, you have to be on my side. You know what I'm saying? You have to be on my side. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm going to chastise your children and they're not used to being chastised, then you're going to have to be on my side. Get my back. Now, you know, kids use child psychology, because that's where they got it from. The child. You know what I'm saying? That's how they, you know what I'm saying? So they play mind game on the mama. You know what I'm saying?
And the dad.
And we're going to the daddy and the dad. So they're trying to put two forces. See, you have to understand something. A child just wants to get his way. He don't care nothing about you or who you are. I just want to get what I want. If I have to put mommy and daddy against each other, I will do it at all costs. As long as I can get what I want. So the first thing that has to be unified in that house is that man and that woman. They got to be on the same page. Or can nothing go down? Nothing. Because if they can play one against the other, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And they will do it with no remorse, no problems. They will come and they don't care. As long as I can get what I want out of this situation, I'm going to deal with it the way I got to deal with it. So, you have to have that bond with that woman. And sit down with her and discuss that we can't, I don't care what happens, we cannot turn against each other in front of them. We can argue if we want to, but don't let them hear it. Don't let them hear us doing that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta walk around the block and go 10 blocks down and argue. Let's do it like that. But not in that environment.
That's right.
Not with them watching us, you know, paying attention to that. You can't do that, that's not gonna work. We're talking about the family unit that has been destroyed. There's no such thing as that no more. You know what I'm saying? The way that we had it. Us older people, man, we had a family unit. There were consequences, there was chores you had to do. You know what I'm saying? You had to wash dishes, clean the floor, take the garbage out. There's none of that. And if it is, they don't want to do it. No, I ain't doing that. And then the mother, there's nothing respond against that. They look at him and just go, all right, whatever. How do you expect things to work out for you, mama? Father, if you letting them slide? Discipline is discipline. Either be mental or physical. But you got to let them know that you will do it.
That's right.
Even if you got to throw them out the house. Get up. And it's hurting your heart, especially women. I'm gonna keep waiting.
It's not my baby.
Yeah, I ain't doing that. That's a problem. That's a problem, man, mama. See, that part of you has to, come on, you can't do that. Because you're not going to be a successful parent. You're not going to be a successful mother. You cannot coexist with you feeling like that about her or him. You can't do it because it's not going to work. They're playing us, man. They've been playing us for years. Are you serious? They're not going to change. See, the kids are serious about being a kid. He's serious about manipulating you. He's serious about getting what he wants out of you. Serious about that. So we got to be serious not to give him that. We got to be serious about our teamwork. You know what I'm saying? When they say teamwork means dream work. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we can be successful in doing whatever we have to do once we unify as man and woman. Anybody have anything else they would like to say on Zoom?
Zoom audience, anybody got anything to say?
Yes, if I could jump in, it's Brother Lumumba.
Come on in, brother.
I guess, and thank you for this program. So one of the things I wanted to say was, in order to provide more solutions. So I agree and, champion what Sister K Fighter, Sister Keisha, as well as Sister Empress was saying. One about using the technology, being able to be up on it and not fall behind, and being able to utilize it to our best advantage. So, I myself, I have a program. I'm utilizing Zoom. I'm utilizing Facebook Live. I'm also on Instagram. And it's the Mighty Augmented Violent Action Network. We have bi-weekly meetings every Monday. We just had a meeting this past Monday. And, it's about making sure that we are teaching these things to our young men. And making sure that we're passing on this knowledge and information. So it's an interfaith, inter-ideological, inter-organizational, intergenerational rites of passage, mentorship, and fellowship and brotherhood that is based on ancient principles, culture, and the legacy of our illustrious ancestors. Okay, so those are the fundamentals that we're dealing with in teaching. So, you know, we had one initiative, Operation Kill Drill, where we're talking about not only, you know, speaking on the negative aspects of the music, but being able to galvanize and build a coalition of musicians and so forth to be able to reintroduce and institute the elevated frequencies and vibrations of music and culture that we need. Okay, and you know, we building towards a summit, town hall meeting, the SOS, Save Our Souls, town hall meeting and summit, you know, seriously and holistically addressing and implementing dynamic counteractive measures against armed violence, clout chasing, crash out culture, collectively as a community and inter-organizationally. All right, we're building towards a serious community centuries and safeguards. So I'm in training right now with some brothers with the martial arts. So we can actually have engagement within our communities where we have safeguards and security measures. But, you know, folks got to be organized and trained to those means, right? And then we have the BLUF initiative, which stands for Black Love Under Fire, where we teach some of the fundamentals of how and why the black man and woman is broken up and the black families are disconnected. You know what I mean? So these are ongoing programs that are taking place. We just had, like I said, this last meeting, we spoke and we touched on those, those type of initiatives. You know, so we dealt with the topics of black masculinity. We dealt with the BLUF, the Black Love Under Fire, and then we dealt with the concept of love versus lust, and being able to do a proper interview, be able to look at those resumes. You know what I'm saying? Before we delve into these relationships, so we don't have seeding, demon children, based off of lust, alcohol, and drugs, and this type of thing. So that's infused within the child once they're born. So once we have these dynamics, these archetypes of what a healthy and positive relationship looks like, then we can start modeling these things for ourselves and for our children. And with that, I yield it. Thanks.
I totally agree with you, my brother. I think that that's very important. I also think that at the end of the day, we have to realize that a lot of that energy and a lot of that information, you know what I'm saying, is not utilized in most environments. And I think that what you're doing, I take my hat off, brother, that it should be utilized the way that you're speaking about doing it. And I think that we need to get women and men in the same circle together so we can see one feeling or one thought against another thought. This is what I have done. I had 5 females over here and 5 men over here. And I had the young females tell me what they thought a man was. You know what I'm saying? And their feelings about what they thought a man was. And you'd be amazed of the stuff that come out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. And the men, what a woman was. A lot of them didn't even understand what each individual was. They didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, how do you even speak about that? Because they never seen it and visualized it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the grassroots. The family must be put back together, brother, and it has to start with that man and that woman. You know what I'm saying? That girl and that boy. You know what I'm saying? It has to start at that phase because this is all we have. We don't have men. We have boys and girls in these relationships. We don't have men. We have no men and we have no women. You know what I'm saying? You have individuals that have a title as a woman, but don't even understand the significance of what she's actually saying about that. If you ask any of these young girls what a woman is, you'd be surprised. I don't know. Why you ask me that for? Or you ask a man, what is a man? Somebody that can stick a female real good. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of response you're going to get out of them because I see it every day. I talk to kids every day, man, on the streets. So a lot of them are not where you think they are with far their knowledge on what the other individual is and what's the purpose of them other than them having sex. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Wendy Lynch taught that. The stud What was the stud's job? The stud's job was to come, go in the woman, you know what I'm saying, have sex and move on. Have sex and move on. What are these young boys doing? You know what I'm saying? They're having sex and they moving on. They studs. But they don't understand where it comes from or why their behavior is like that. They don't understand. But that's what they were used for, man. To have impregnate the child and keep it moving.
And like with Dr. Mack and them going up against Netflix, and when you look at how Hollywood, what's in media, the television, they get their information from entertainment. They get the information for who the European control with the media. When you get that book, Neil Gerbler, Empire They Own, you see how they set it up. When they made the movie, The Gangs of New York, the Irish was pissed off on how they portrayed them down in the historical 5 points.
Facts.
When the Italians, the Sicilians, everybody wanted to portray themselves as being connected to organized crime. They did not like it, so they changed the curriculum to bring up, because they had put the stigma that everybody was a criminal. So when they look at African people and what the media and what they put on TV, look at the picture Claudine. Look at every move of the man from the household.
That's right.
Look at how Hollywood portrayed these phony. When they made that movie, The Mac, we all loved it. Superfly. Everybody came out of the Lowe's Gates Theater on Broadway and wanted to be a pimp. Everybody came out and wanted to sell drugs. So this is Hollywood destroying our image the same way Netflix. That's why that fight against Netflix is so important, because they took a movie that had positivity, good times, that Cabrini Green, and they basically destroyed the image of us. Dr. Lewis talks about it all the time. And here you got black folks participating in the same. When we looked up the individuals that played the characters in that movie, in that cartoon, they were all black. They looked just like Steph Curry. So Hollywood has a big thing to do with the image on how we do. Hollywood, and the moguls that control it. That's one of the reasons why the lecture series and the people that put on the lectures is trying to get us to reprogram our minds.
I want to say the last thing
Jewish
here.
writers.
I like to say this.
Jewish writers, Jewish producers, all in the entertainment industry.
Let me say this before I end this thing. My brother Umar Johnson, right? I know when he was a baby. And what I mean by as a baby, when he was first coming out. Me and him did a lecture in Sinetti's living room. I think it was 2000.
That's when Sinetti was having lectures.
Yeah, we had a lecture in the house. And me and Umar did something in the state of our children, I think the title was. And we then did something after that, relationship and dating. Me and Umar Johnson did that back in the days. But at the end of the day, man, I hear a lot of people talking about what he's doing, what he ain't doing. Listen, the brother accomplished a lot. You know what I'm saying? He accomplished a lot. He got to school, you know what I'm saying? You know, he went and did what he had to do. So I'm saying this, for people who's out there, man, for people who's out there, let's give a brother a chance, man. You know, I know we have something inside of us, man, that don't want another black man to be successful. I know you got haters out there that don't like him for whatever reason at the end of the day. But he's a very powerful young man, man. And he's given, and he does a lot of things, the information-wise, that he's given to the people, man. So I would say, at the end of the day, man, you know, I hope that he's successful. I hope that the people that are trying to stop him from even allowing him to even open the school up, to actually have it exist. I hope that, you know what I'm saying, they give him the pass out there in Delaware and then let the man do what he needs to do, man, because he has done a lot of positive stuff, whether you like him, dislike him, or whatever.
Bill, come on, man.
And a lot of, no, seriously.
Y'all got to stop that. Y'all really got to stop that.
Why?
This is another thing, too. You can't sweep under the rug bad behavior.
All right, but there's nobody perfect. There's nobody perfect, though.
Listen to what his own family members are saying. His parents, his nieces and nephews, his children. You can't tell me what I need to do with my children, no matter how good the information is, when you ain't doing it with your children. This is what I'm saying. It starts with the family. All of these folks who out here and say they doing work, let me see what your people say about you. Let me see that. Come on, man. He lost what he had on his own fruition. We gotta stop pushing bad behavior under the rug.
So let me say this to you.
Our kids is
So
let us finish this.
see that.
All right. So you saying that you don't agree with his, that you think that the man did no good at all?
Absolutely none.
None?
Because see, when you none. Let me explain why. Because when you're a fraud, it washes away whatever good you might be saying. Your own children are telling the world that you have never been there for them, that you've never done nothing for them, that you disrespected them. He goes on social media and curse out his own child. You can't do that and expect the community to rock with you. We gotta stop protecting bad behavior. And that's bad behavior. I don't care how you lay it out. It's bad behavior. You can't find my children saying anything disrespectful about their mother and father. That's just not gonna happen. Cousins galore, aunts and uncles, you're not gonna hear it. But you can't say the same about him. And so your credibility is shot. It's done. And he did that on his own. We gotta stop pushing bad behavior under the rug. Because like I said, we live in a technological world. He cannot hide those financial filings. It cannot be hidden. Everything is right there at your fingertips. And the children and young people know how to use it. We're supposed to be the bridge between the baby boomer generation, the millennials, and Gen Z. And right now, when you look at the paradigm from where we came from, it's a lot of fraudsters.
What is Gen Z?
It's a lot of fraudsters. And we got to stop. Come on, Seville.
No. All right, let me say something to you. I could agree with that, but I don't go on social media and know what his daughter said or his father. I don't even go in there and look at that.
Good.
All I'm saying is this. Is that the man,
in your opinion,
my opinion,
thank you,
the man's information, right, that he gave out there is very important for people to know. What he's doing for the school thing is showing that's a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? What was actually happening. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? About, what, his business. I'm just on what he's saying. His information about the school and the drug and the Ritalin and all the rest of the systemic things that he's saying about what goes on in the school is very important.
good.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not gonna say his information is bad. No, a lot of stuff that he said it makes a lot of sense. You feel what I'm saying to you? Now, one thing that he said, and I gotta get out of here, is that the book that determines what illness you have, right? What is the DSM-5, right? Now listen, now, when he said this, and this was a long time ago, he said, being gay, right? Being a homo, right? Was in the book as a mental illness.
That's right.
In 1970. They removed it from the book. You know what I'm saying? So they can let it run rapid. You know what I'm saying? I never knew about that until he said it out of his mouth. So that was, he said a lot of important things that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Do what I do today. You know what I'm saying? Now what his personal life consists of has nothing to do with that. What I'm saying to you is that he said a lot of good stuff.
In his book.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
In his book.
Right, it's in his book. So there's a lot of information that I totally agree with. If you want to say he defrauded me, or find out sooner or later, because sooner or later the bottom will fall out. And you know what I'm saying?
I got you, brother.
That's what I'm saying. Now it's power.
That wasn't the first time I heard it, but I know he said it, and it was first time for a lot of people who did get it. But at the same time, like I said, we can't push bad behavior under the rug.
I'm not saying that. I'm not pushing under the rug.
All the time. Right now, he has no credibility. And when you look at his book or you read his book, it's regurgitated information from Dr. Amos Wilson.
Well, that's what you.
And others.
But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get information from other scholars. I don't care how you do it or what you use it for, but he can do what he want to do with it. But if it's raising the dead, if it's teaching people things that they don't know, so be it. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody perfect on the planet. Everybody got some dark holes somewhere. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody walking around here, you know what I'm saying, that's perfect. That never did nothing wrong or doing nothing wrong right now. Nobody. So at the end of the day, listen. That's your opinion and you're entitled to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you feel. I can't take it from you. But the way I feel that the brother has gained some information that's pertinent that can help people do what they need to do. Thank you. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give brothers and brothers a great big hand. We definitely will be coming back for part 2. He's going to be welcome to the Mackey's group for part 2. We want to thank the Zoom audience for participating in the conversation. We also want to thank the individuals that came out in the live, and this is one of the things that where I give praise to Miss Leola Maddox in the United African Movement.
Me too.
Because she believed in bringing people together.
That's right.
Good, bad, or indifference. We as individuals say things and this and that, but in the interim, it's whatever we disagree to be disagreed. So it's just a difference of opinion, just like if I say something and somebody else and this and that, or you don't agree with what Dr. Lewis or Munderson or Sister Keisha or Brother Tad or anybody that come, you could always come and debate and talk, and that's why I love the live audience, because you could come down, you could drive down, you could get in touch with the person and you could have your own conversation. So we want to thank Brother Seville for bringing up some of the problems that happens. And I want to thank the Zoom audience for their participating. So we're going to wrap it up. You can make conversation. You want to say something there, brother?
Yeah, brother. That brother can leave his number in the Zoom chat to do the bi-weekly Zoom meetings that brother was talking.
Okay, Brother Lumumba.
Or you guys know it.
Hold on. Brother Lumumba, put your information in the chat so Brother Sharif could write it down, because he wants to participate in the program. So he's going to put it in the chat, and you can write it down right now. He's going to put it in the chat. So I want to thank...
I put the information in the chat already.
Yeah, he's going to put it in the chat.
You already see what I mean?
Huh?
Technology, you already did it a long time ago.
Hey, that's what, you know, that's what it's about. So the thing is, what I'm saying is that here we have a newcomer, a Brother Sharif, who's a good friend of the United African Movement coming down, and he basically got some answers to some business stuff that he's doing, and he's already participating in something else with the Philadelphia connection with Empress and them. So I want to thank him for coming down. So we're going to put it, he's going to get it off the chat. Everybody, you can have your conversation, talk while we clean the place up. And big ups to Brother Seville and everybody that, with the support of Thorough Black Talk, Mackey's, Dr. Lewis, and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.